Hi everyone, you're welcome to Perfect Glamour Fashion. In today's tutorial, we're going to be learning how to make this flare skirt with drawstrings design. For the fabric measurement, I used 4 yards to sew for both the skirts and the top, but for the skirt, I used about 2.5 yards. Now to know the yardage you'll be using to fold your fabric to avoid shortage and then you having to join back the fabric when you want to sew. One thing I do is to get my waist circumference and divide it by 3.42. Okay, so my waist circumference currently is 29. I divide it by 3.142, sorry, and then what I have is going to be 9.2. So now I already have the measurement I'll be using for my waist. Now that 9.2 plus the skirt length I want to use. So 9.2 plus 35. That's 35 is the length of the skirt that I made. So 9.2 plus 35 is going to give me about 44.2. So 44.2 is now the length that I'll be folding. Do you understand? I'm going to measure out 44.2 and I'm going to add 2 inches for sewing allowance. Now look at how I'm going to be measuring it now. I'm going to measure out 44.2. I'm using 44.25 now, and then I'm going to add 2 inches, and this is going to just serve, or 3 inches, this is going to serve as sewing allowance and all of that and all the foldings. Okay, so when I'm done with that, I'm just going to cut two of that length, and that's what I'm going to fold my fabric by. When I'm done folding, there will be no need to do any joining in the down part and all of that, because when you do that joining, it usually doesn't come out very neat. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do is just to hold on one tip of the triangle, and then I'm going to fold. This is going to form a 90-degree flare. Okay, so I hope this is clear enough. Just hold it by the tip, one of the tips, and then fold. So now the next thing I'm going to do is to come down by that 9.25 that I got earlier. Okay, I'm going to come down by 9.25. I'm going to hold my tape by the edge of the fabric and then go round to form a curve. And I'm ruling it out with my chalk so that it will be visible for you. Then from that point, now that's now going to be my waistline. Okay, and remember there's going to be band, and that band is going to be 1.5. I'm using 1.5 for my band. You can use 2 inches, you can use 3 inches, whatever works for you, but I'm using 1.5. So at that point of 1.5, that's where I'm going to place my tape, and then I'm going to measure the length, that 35 length that I said I'm going to be using. I'm going to measure it out, and you're going to notice there will be no need for joining, because I will have the full measurement. The full length is already in the fabric because of the calculation we did earlier. So I'm cutting this out. I hope it's clear enough. I'm cutting this out. And as I'm cutting it out, I already have my full skirt length. The next thing I'm going to do is to cut out the circle, the curved line, but I'm going to go up by ½ inch so that the ½ inch will serve as my sewing allowance. So don't forget this part. Go up by ½ inch so that it will form your sewing allowance. Now I'm cutting for the back with the extra piece. I cut 2 pieces of that measurement. Okay, so with that second piece I'm going to use to cut for the back. Now observe how I place the front fabric on this back fabric. I'm going to leave out 1 inch. This 1 inch will serve as my zip allowance. So now that I've left out that 1 inch, I will cut exactly what I have in front for my back. The difference now is that there is 1 inch sewing allowance. Okay, 1 inch zip allowance, sorry. And then I'm going to be cutting it open. So now I have my back skirts. So you see how simple it is. Very easy to make your flare skirt. Okay, now for the drawstrings, I will first of all notch the center of my front piece. I'll notch the center of my front piece, and then by the side I want the drawstring to be, I'm going to get the center of the side. Okay, so I'm going to measure what I have from the notched part to the end of the skirt, and then I'm going to divide it by 2. And at that point, I'm going to rule a straight line. I'm going to use my straight ruler to rule a 9.5 inch or 10 inch length line, a straight line down towards the end of the skirt. Next, we're going to be cutting the piece for the drawstring casing. Okay, now this piece is 4 inches in width and 10 inch length. Okay, now you're going to fold 1/2 inch on both sides and then fold it into 2 again. So as you can see, I've ironed my own piece. I folded 1/2 inch on both sides and then I folded into 2. And before I ironed it, I turned the down parts of the casing to ensure that when I'm putting in my drawstrings, it's going to be neat. So this part of the casing is already sewn. You've sewn in the allowance for the down part of the casing. I hope that's clear enough. All right, so I'll place the middle parts of the casing on the line, the straight line that I drew earlier. You're going to place the middle part of the casing on the straight line and hold it with your pin so that it doesn't move, to avoid it moving about when you're sewing. And then for the sewing, I'm going to be sewing on the edge, very close to the edge of each side. I'll sew close to the edge of each side, and then I'm going to also run a line in the middle of this casing. I will just go by the line of the ironing in the middle, and when I'm done doing that, I've formed 2 lines with this single casing. And then for the drawstring, just cut 2 inch wide and maybe 20. I use 21 inch length for this. Okay, so if you want it to be longer, you can make it 25, 30, whatever you want to do. And then you just form your drawstring by sewing by the side and then turning it over. That's all I did. Just fold it into 2, sew and turn it over. And now for inserting my strings, you can use whatever comes to you. For me, I use bobbin pin. Normally, we advise that you use safety pin. Okay, so if you use a safety pin, and then you can insert it through the casing that you've created. For me, I use bobbin pin to insert my own my own casing. That was what was available at the moment. So in case you don't have a safety pin, just get your bobbin pin for your hair and then use it for inserting your stuff. All right, so if you watched up to this point, that means you really like what I'm doing, you love this video. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up. If this is your first time that you are coming across our videos, you're welcome to the family. Do not forget to subscribe. We post sewing tutorial every single week to ensure that you are a professional fashion designer. Okay, for my returning subscribers, I love you all. Thank you for your support. Thank you for always being here and learning from me. All right, so the next thing we're going to be doing now is to work on the pockets. Okay, so you notice that the gown has pockets. The next thing we're going to do is to be working on the pockets. Now the width of my pocket is 8 inches and the length is also 8 inches. Actually, just I just formed a square and then I curved the square. The part that will be inside, I just curved it a bit just to form that, pocket curve and all of that. Just make sure that whatever you cut will be big enough to enter your hand. So you can even place your hand the way I'm placing my hand now, to ensure that your pocket is big enough for your fingers. You understand that? Okay, so now I have 4 pieces. Notice I have 4 pieces of 4 pieces for my pocket. Now I'll go ahead and join the zip allowance. I'll go down by 7 inches first, and then from that 7 inches I will go all the way down by 1 inch So I've joined the zip allowance, but I've not added the zip. Now for the pocket, I'll go down by the side of each of the piece, both the front piece and the back piece, by 2 inches. Okay, I'm doing that for the front piece. I'm also doing it for the back piece. So I'm going to go down by 2 inches by the side of both the front piece and the back piece, because that's where this is from that 2-inch point that I'll place my my pocket. Okay, so while placing the pocket, remember it's front facing front side facing front side, and you place it on that 2 inches that you marked, and then place it all the way down to where the pocket ends. Okay, so remember it's front facing front, so that if by adventure you bring out your pocket, it will still be the right side that will come out. So right side facing right side when you are placing your pocket. I'm going to be doing the same thing for the back. I'm going to place it on that 2 inches point that I created earlier. And I'm going to place it all the way down. I'm pinning it down to ensure that it doesn't move around when I am sewing. And once I'm done pinning it down, I will go and sew the sides by 1/2 inch sewing allowance. I'm going to sew it all the way down by 1/2 inch sewing allowance. And that's just how I'm going to bring my front and back pieces together. You see, we're almost done with these skirts. You see how simple and easy it is, and it still came out looking so good, like so gorgeous and all of that. Now for the band, I cut 4 inch wide, and then I cut 32 inches long. That's my waist plus 3. Okay, so, and I'm going to join it right side facing right side. I've already folded the 4 inches with my iron, so what is left now is 2 inches, and when I'm done sewing, what will be left is the 1.5 inch I left off for my band. The next thing I'm going to do is to add zipper allowance zip. Okay, I'm going to actually go off the camera and add my zip. And with that, we are done with our skirts. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. So if you did, do well to give it a thumbs up and then come around for our next video. I'm going to be sewing this top with us in my next video, so see you there.